Let's turn to business news now with Madison Reedy, who's on the other side of me. Madison, Fairfax Media might merge with Nine Television across the Tasman. Fairfax Media are a very important part of life in New Zealand because
they own Stuff. So Stuff actually changed its name from Fairfax Media in February to kind of separate itself from its Australian owner, but it is still 100% owned by Fairfax Corporation, which is listed in Australia. And today, just when I thought I was going to have a quiet day in business news, they dropped a merger on my desk. So they have proposed a merger with Nine Entertainment. Nine News is probably what you've heard of in Australia. They have gone to Fairfax actually only this month, earlier in July, so just a few weeks ago. They knocked on Fairfax's door and said, hey, we'd like to buy you. Here's $2.3 billion. Would you be willing to take it?
Holy moly. Now, I'm just catching up on this because we've had a busy day working on independent contractors versus employees and all that kind of stuff. But is there the equivalent of the Commerce Commission in Australia? So there are hurdles here because
Absolutely.
This would create a giant, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So it is obviously subject to Fairfax shareholder approval as well as some court approval. But the big kind of question mark hanging over it at the moment is that Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, which is the equivalent of New Zealand's Commerce Commission. So Commerce Commission blocked the Stuff and NZME merger, and they're obviously still waiting on that Court of Appeal decision. So the same body, government authority, which is that commission in Australia, could do the same thing. They have said today that they're going to review it, and they have 3 months to do that. And if they wish to block it, they have to apply to the courts to do so.
Gosh, it'd be fascinating, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
It's creating such a giant. The aged care provider Oceania Healthcare is making more money than expected.
Yes.
What's behind that?
Well, behind that is they have aged care facilities. So it's obviously a retirement village, and they have expanded very rapidly, as they all are at the moment. It's a booming business, an ageing population, and they're just building beds like crazy, particularly in Auckland. And it was actually the revenue, their fastest growing revenue growth was from their aged care facilities. And that's more the kind of medical care side of retirement villages. So it's certainly growing, and there's certainly retired people are looking to move into retirement villages that have that option kind of later down the line. So it is certainly growing. So they posted a net profit after tax of 77 million.
Holy moly.
And last year it was only 45.
Wow.
but they did say that large increase was also a lot to do with property value spiking as well. But it is interesting.
It didn't spike that much, did it?
Well, I mean, they are building like crazy.
Right,
they have, hundreds of beds, units is the way they measure them rather than homes. And every single one they've built has delivered on time and on budget, which is, something to the likes of KiwiBuild. I mean, I'm sure the government would love to see that many beds on their books.
What happened on the markets to end the week, Madison?
The NZX Top 50, we are down. It's not even worth getting out of bed for. Just 1 point to close at 8932. And NZ dollars buying at 68.4 US cents, 91.9 Australian and 51.8 to the British pence.
Madison Reedy, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, Madison.
You too.